Okay. So, radical equations. So I'm going to start off really basic. Like I said, we're only going to cover...
Good morning, KHS.
I've been waiting for that.
Today is Friday, January 8th. And for lunch, we're having hamburgers and our wrestling... Cedar. I was like, what is that? We have a wrestling meet in Cedar, and then we have a home boys basketball game tomorrow against Bryce Valley, so good luck to you guys. Congrats to our students of the month, which is Josie Petrus and Mike Liu. Come into the office for your award if you haven't already.
Students, especially juniors and seniors, check your SIS, college and career plan to verify that you are on track for graduation. See Mr. Casino with any questions you have. And also make sure you're prepared with your books and registration for college classes because they start on Monday. So, I think that's it.
See you, love you, bye.
Step number 1. We're going to get the square root alone. Now this problem right here that I just gave you, the first one, the square root's already alone, right? You want to get everything that's next to or near the square root that's on the same side of the equal sign over to the other side before we can do these problems. Does that make sense first? So step number 1 is to get the square root alone. And we're going to do some problems here in a minute that the square root's not alone. And we're going to figure out how to get stuff over to the other side. Step number 2, after the square root's alone, we're going to square both sides of equation. So we're going to square both sides of the equation. It's about time.
Sorry. Told me something funny.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just do it. She'll kill me if I tell you, so don't tell anyone.
Except everyone in here. Okay.
Okay, sorry. So let's just Stuart comes
And the
into
people that
practice.
will listen to
It's
this.
fine. Comes into practice at like 6 this morning, so it's at 6, you know? And she's like, I can't get my car to turn off. Like, my key's like stuck. Like, I can't get it out. And we're like, well, go turn your car off. We have to practice. She's like, no, it's fine. I'll come do it after practice. My car is just going to die. And we're like, was your car in park? Or like, is your steering wheel, like, do you need your steering wheel? She's like, no, I did all of that. And so then her and Nabby go out and try and fix it. Her and Sophie go out and try and fix it. And then I go out there, I look, and I'm like, your freaking car's in drive, Alyssa. And it's like against the curb, like it's on the road. So I just put her car in park, take her key out, and hand it to her. And now someone has to jump her car because it's dead. Oh, she's so stupid. Well, I was sitting there, I was like, your steering wheel's not even locked. I was like, what the heck? And then I look and I'm like, it's in freaking drive.
One of them turns the steering wheel and jumps the curb. That could have been so bad. They come in, they go back out there, the thing's pivoted into the fence across the road. Running over the fence, keeps going into the house. Kids and a family are in there eating breakfast. Car comes through the back door. Has anyone, you guys don't drive yet, but that will happen at some point in your life. You'll be in a hurry. You'll jump out of the car, and you won't put it in. You'll just jump out, and you won't put it in. All of a sudden, you jump out, and the car's like, and you're like, oh, and you're like bailing back in to get it stopped. But luckily, you can get. I've never actually went into somewhere and left my car in drive. That's a bad deal. That could have been real bad. That could have been thousands of dollars worth of bad.
It was just against
the worst part, what about if she had left right there and it had pegged the school?
It like going over the curb.
I have a hole in my wall today. It's just a big old hole right here. That was a good story. I needed that. All right, here we go. Step number 1, get the square root alone. Step number 2, we're going to square both sides of the equation. What that means is we're going to square this. The reason why we square it is to get rid of the radical. We square it to get rid of the radical. Step number 3, solve the equation. And this equation right here is extremely easy. We're just going to subtract 5 And we're going to get W equals 76. Okay, so like I said, today is not going to be a hard day. Today's going to be relatively pretty easy. We will do one that's a little bit harder. But that's basically it when you're solving radical equations. Now realize these are easier, but they do get quite a bit harder. I'm going to have you guys try one of these on your own. These are called basic ones. If I have the square root of u plus 7 equals 9. I want everyone to do that one real quick. I'm going to give you about 25 seconds. Chemistry, huh?
Chemistry's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
We have 10 assignments due every single week. I really don't care.
Done?
Where?
Preston? Travis? Travis, what did you do first? Okay, so we square both sides, and we're left with u plus 7 equals 81. Then what, Trav? Subtract 7, so u equals 74. Who got that one right? Raise your hand. Okay, on top of this, believe it or not, it can actually get a little bit easier. We can have a problem that looks like this. How would I solve that? Square both sides, so x equals what? Good. Alright, let's get harder. That would have... Can you imagine if that was like it? I'm just like, that's it. Blaine celebrates. People are crying in the streets. So excited. Blaine's jumping with joy, leaping through hoops. It'd be wild time. Alright, here we go. 1 equals the square root of 3w plus 12 minus 2. So step number 1 comes into play here. We got to get the square root alone. Anybody know how to get the square root alone here? Brianna, what do you think? Yeah, so we're going to add 2 to both sides here. By doing that, is going to give us 3 equals the square root of 3w plus 12. Now, look, this is going to be different in a lot of different problems. What's going to be with the square root? Where is it at? And we're going to do a couple here, but just to let you know, this thing could be here. It could be in front of it. Anywhere it is, you got to get the square root alone. So you got to do whatever it is to get rid of it. And then we're into a problem just like we've done 3 times already. We're going to square both sides to give us 9 equals 3w plus 12. And then we can just solve the equation. And hopefully, I can kind of buzz through these solving the equation parts. We should all be pretty good at them. So w equals -1. Give me a sec. All right, give me. No, wait. Yeah. Is it freezing cold?
Sorry.
It is so
I woke
cold.
up at 4 this morning throwing up, and then I had to practice, and now I feel even worse, but it's okay.
Go home. I
No.
don't want you by me.
I'm not sick, though. I feel fine now.
Doesn't seem like you feel fine. I just probably touched your computer. Get out of here. Get away from my drink. Don't. I will kill you. It will be a death sentence for you.
Maybe I want to die.
All right, here we go. So if you get, all right, let's do one of this a little bit tougher. Any questions on that so far? We okay? Try this one on your own. And then I'm going to see if I can find one that's even tougher. 5u plus 14 plus 2 equals 5. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm suffocating. I can't wait. Here we go. Perfect.
You logged in? I have to log. Oh my gosh, I have to log you out.
Me?
I have to create an assignment in there. It's gonna. I'm gonna have to log back in on there, but.
My grading form.
That's what's really dumb about Alex. No two accounts can be logged in at one time. Did you know that? Like the same account can't be logged into two different places at one time.
That just logs me in.
Like, not like somebody I know. Jarrett. Dumb. Right?
She's called Jarrett dumb.
Yes, that's what he is.
That is dumb. He's dating me.
Shots fired.
It's fired. That makes sense.
Okay, give me a sec here. Alright, so, Kason. Seems like you're talking today a lot. Kason, what would you do first?
I would minus 2 each side.
Why would you minus 2 to each side?
Because it's the positive 2.
Okay, so why do we want to get rid of this? Thanks, Kason. Okay, now what, Kason?
Then square times it by 2.
No, square it. We don't want to times it by 2. That does nothing for us. Okay, alright, Cerise, what do I do next? Okay, so we're going to minus 14, then what, Cerise? So u equals negative 1, right? Okay, who got that one right? Raise your hand. Alright, we need to do, I'm going to show you one of the ones we're going to come up to on Monday. Just so you guys can see it. Brandon, what's up? Because you don't want to get it set equal to 0 yet. Only whenever you're going to have a u squared or an x squared is the only way you get it set equal to 0. So you want to just get the squared alone, so you subtract 2 over. Okay, this is a problem you're going to see on Monday. Kason. This is a problem you're going to see on Monday. And you don't need to write this one down yet. Don't worry about it, because you're going to see it on Monday. So don't freak out too much about this. We'll go over these in depth on Monday. Yeah. Think about this. If your square root's alone, first off, go through the steps. Is the square root alone? If it is, we have to square both sides. By squaring both sides, it's going to get rid of the square root. But what do we have to do over here? Okay, how do we rewrite that? It's not that. Someone tell me how to do this. Someone raise your hand honestly and tell me how to simplify that. No one knows.
Photo math. That's why I failed sophomore math.
Yeah.
Would it end up being u squared minus 25 on that side?
Close. Okay, how do we do that? How do we go u minus 5 squared? Okay, go. Man, I might need to give a homework off if someone can tell me. Hey, you don't have to do the homework if someone can tell me how to do this. How do I do that? U minus 5 squared.
Oh, foil! You foil it.
Oh my god.
You foil it.
No homework.
U minus 5 times u minus 5, which is u squared, minus 10u plus 25 equals 8u plus 40. We're going to get a couple more people involved in this. Okay, so now we're there. Yeah, you don't have to do it, but look, we're going to, now look, this is an interesting scenario. I'm going to ask 2 more questions in this problem we're doing. If someone can answer it right, the other people also get it off. So, Kason, if you answer it right, you can keep it all to yourself.
Okay, cool. Try it, guys.
Okay. So, Kason's right. U minus 5 is foiled. Mrs. Yates has a comic on her wall in there that says every single time that somebody does this, a puppy dies. Because that's not right. You have to be able to foil it. Oh, sorry. She says every single time somebody just takes that and goes to there and there, a puppy dies. That's what it says. It's kind of bad deal, but puppies die. Alright, so now we're to there. We're to u squared minus 10u plus 25 equals negative 8u plus 40. So we have an issue here. We have a u squared. Okay. First hand up that gives me the right answer. What would we have to do next? Cerise? Okay, what does that do? Okay, what do you mean by that though? Combine like terms, because we do, but why? What do we got to do to be able to come up? What are we trying to do? Why are we trying to combine like terms? Hold on, Maddie, and then Preston. We don't want to square it first. Preston?
So you combine the negative 10 with the negative 8, you 25 and 40, and then you square root both of them.
No. So Cerise already kind of mentioned combine like terms, but I want to know, why do you have to combine like terms here? How does it help us solve the, how does it help us further solve the equation? Hold on, why? Anybody? Anybody know why we have to combine like terms here? It is simplified, but that's not, the reason why we have to do is to get it into what form? Yeah, but what is standard form? I'm trying to look for an exact answer. There's a reason why we have to combine like terms. It's to get it in standard form, but what does standard form help us do? Oh, there it is. Trav gets it off. So look right here. We have to add 8u to both sides, which gives us this. So I would have taken two different answers there. By combining like terms, we could get a set equal to 0. And then we could solve this using the quadratic equation. So, we have an a b, and a c. We're going to go negative b, which is positive 2 plus or minus the square root of, but look, we're not, there's going to be one more question coming up, so everyone get ready. And I'm going to rewrite out the original problem so we can have it up here. And I'll go back up to it in just a second, so you guys can see it. So we have b squared, which is 4 minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a, which is 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 60 over 2. 2 plus or minus 8. Sorry, 2 plus or minus 8 over 2, because square root of 64 is 8, and I'm going fast right now. So we're to there. Which gives us how many answers? This doesn't count for the problem off. It should give us 2. So it's 5 and negative 3. Are those our two answers? 2 plus 8 divided by 2 is 5. 2 minus 8, which is negative 4. Negative 6. Divided, okay. So those are our two answers. Here we go. You guys ready? What do I have to do next? Cerise? Yeah, you got to put them each in. Cerise gets it off. You have to put them each into u to check your answer. Because this is where it's going to get real interesting. Usually, only one of them is right. So whenever we do these things are called two possible solutions. Two possible solutions. So we solve this. We got two possible solutions. So I'm going to rewrite out the problem right here, and I'm going to write our solutions next to it so we can have room to work. So this is what we're going to be doing Monday. So our two solutions are 5 and negative 3. Our two solutions are that. So what we're going to do is we're first going to plug in 5. So 5 minus 5 equals the square root of negative 8 times 5 plus 40, which is 0 equals negative 8 times 5 is negative 40 plus 40 is 0. So 0 equals 0. Is that true? So that's definitely an answer. The next one, we're going to have negative 3 minus 5 equals the square root of negative 8 times negative 3 plus 40, which gives us negative 8 equals negative 8 times the negative 3 is a 24, which is that, which gives us negative 8 equals 8. Is that true? No. So we only have one answer on that problem, which is 5. Everyone see that? So you three, you guys know how to do the problem, but those are, now look, remember when I told you that after we taught the quadratic formula, I said every chapter from here on out, we're going to use the quadratic formula. Every single chapter from here on out, we're going to use it. So this is one of the ways that we use it right here. Okay? So your assignment's on Alex already. I think it's like 6 problems only. So, yeah. What? No, you don't. Yeah, of course. I make everyone show me. I've never not. Maddie,
What?
tell her.